Hello and welcome to Trade You for the Fruit Punch, episode 21. We've been
Eventually, we won't take 2 weeks off every time.
we were recovering from a Super Bowl loss. Let's just put it that way.
I was asking us to record one who was more devastated, given that you've made it abundantly clear that you do not care about the Eagles.
I mean, they're dead to me now, right? The game's over. They're dead to me. I don't know what to tell you.
Still my favorite.
Okay. They could be your favorite, but for right now, they're not playing, so it doesn't matter. We'll certainly talk about the Eagles for a few minutes, but so random thoughts. Obviously, we've said we wanted to try some new foods. So I bought these candies at an Asian supermarket in New York City. Milkita. Milky, creamy honeydew candy.
Is it a hard
It
candy?
could be fantastic, or it could be disgusting.
What are we working with here?
So from the look of it, it doesn't look very good. Do we think it's like Starburst-like?
It looks like a cloudy Jolly Rancher.
No. It's okay.
Is it supposed to be chewy? It's like hard, but also there's like a little bit of softness.
It doesn't know what it wants to be.
I don't think it knows what it wants to be.
It's kind of Starburst-like. It's kind of Jolly Rancher-like with a milky honeydew flavor. It really does taste milky. As your grandmother would say, it's not my favorite.
It's not my favorite. It's not
but it's
terrible.
Not horrible.
Yeah,
it's not horrible. Like I don't need to spit it out and like get a drink of water.
Yeah,
but the milky part it's a little milky. It's a little too milky.
It's a lot milky, and that's a lot of the problem.
And now it's turning very Starburst-like.
It somehow gets milkier the more you chew it.
Yeah.
But the honeydew does come out more the more you chew it, too. I think I preferred it when I wasn't chewing it.
Yeah, there's now like a little metallic flavor. Like ting.
Yeah.
I mean, is it made in China? Contains milk, tree nuts, soy. Yeah, it's not good on the like
it ends very honeydewish.
Yeah. Like the fourth quarter of it is not very good. Okay. Well, back to the drawing board. We're gonna get something else next time. You could throw away the rest of those. I would not be offended if you never ate one of these again. Milkitas. Should we do an advertisement?
What do we rate them?
Milkita.
What are we rating?
Don't buy this shit.
We have to give a rating every time, right?
Out of 10? What do we do?
Out of 10.
It's like a 3 for me.
That feels a little bit low because it's edible. I was thinking like 4.
No, but it's. I feel milky in my mouth. Like I'm not.
I do too. It's upsetting, but like there's definitely worse. I'm gonna go with a 4.
Yeah, I think you're like dunk contest rater. Like all of the dunk contest.
A 3
judges.
And a 4 are not that different.
No, but you gave it
I'm
a 4.
not giving it a 47 out of 50 when I really mean it's a 3 out of 10.
Nah, I feel like that 4 is kind of 47 out of 50. Like, I gotta be honest.
So that one really pushed you over the edge, huh?
The worst All-Star game of all time?
I just don't understand why Tatum and Brown were given the green light to shoot whenever the fuck they wanted.
Well, I don't understand why they played like a little one-on-one game in the middle of a game that involved 8 other gentlemen on the court.
By the way, where are your headphones?
Not sure I understood that. Dunk contest was great.
Hang on. You sound very distant. Where are your headphones?
I didn't want to wear headphones. Should I wear them?
Yeah.
It's better with the headphones?
We apologize that he sounds like he's talking from 3 miles away for the first 5 minutes of the podcast, but he thought it would be a good idea not to wear the thing that makes his audio a little bit better.
Okay, well, here we go.
Don't know what was going on there.
How are we doing?
That's a little bit better. I can hear you better.
Wow, okay. Well,
Although
there
you
you have
still
it.
sound far away.
Well, I'm right here. I haven't gone anywhere.
Weird.
Maybe it's your new headphones. Maybe
It
they
is not.
suck. Maybe they're knockoffs. By the way, the Schmeats I bought from China, not so good.
Not so good.
No.
I mean, they were $17, but
I think they were 27, and I was
wow.
hoping for quality, and they're just not. Like, the case is kind of crappy. The headphones are kind of crappy.
You were hoping for quality out of your $27 earbuds?
Yeah, there's a huge markup on these things, right? They cost them like 14 cents to make, and they sell them to me for $250. So I figured, buying Schmeats for $27 might work out. We'll see. I'm using them at the gym. They work. They're not great. So we're going to talk Sixers a little bit later, right? Real Sixers. But I went to the Sixers game on Saturday night.
This feels like it should be kept for that.
No, I promise. This is not game related at all. There's plenty of game related stuff we could talk about. Here, a gentleman that I went with bought the tickets. They had an obstructed view. And he thought to himself, like, what could be obstructed about, sort of side behind the basket, 4 rows back? Not the floor 4 rows back, but like after the floor, there's like 10 or 15 rows, then it's 4 rows back. And if I told you the cameraman and his huge camera were essentially sitting in my fucking lap, it would be an understatement. The gentleman, I mean, he was literally right in front of me.
How much were tickets, do you know?
Oh, yeah, $425 a piece.
To sit with the cameraman on your lap?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a big-time game. So, big-time prices. Cameraman sitting in my lap. Now, in fairness, we had to buy 7. So, finding 7 next to one another is already like a 25% premium. And I didn't buy them. Like, if I was buying them, I would have found 4 somewhere, 3 close by. I don't need to sit. It's not like I could talk to the person who's 6 seats away from me anyway, right? So I think we should have done a little bit more research on the tickets. I think maybe I should have bought them, but
Speaking
it was
of
fun.
Ticketing malfunctions, I also went to a game this week. I went to Wizards Knicks on Friday. Lovely time. Went with some friends from school. We got the cheapest tickets in the house. They were 400 level, with the intention of moving down. So we tried that after the first quarter to one of the sections in the 100 level. And there was one section where there was no one like guarding it. You know how they usually have the person who checks your ticket? That person must have gone to the bathroom or something. So we went in, we looked around. The only seats where there were 5 in a row was a full section over. So we would have had we walked through an entire section of people. As we're passing through, every single one is going, where are they sitting? And we got sniped by the person in the section next to us. Right as we were about to get to the seats, she was like, where? Didn't work out.
You guys are rookies, idiots. You got to walk down there like you own the place. And then I gave you the trick. You go to Ticketmaster
We
and you
looked
look
at
to see.
Ticketmaster. We did that, but they were checking still the whole game.
You wait. You wait
But
till
we
the
went to
second
200
second.
level. They were perfectly fine. We still had a very good time.
Even though the Wizards lost.
Oh, I
Are
don't
you like a
care.
Wizards fan? Is that like your
I
team
mean,
now?
I guess, but like I don't actually care. They have one of my 100 least favorite players in the league. I
Okay.
hate pretty much the entire league. I despise Bradley Beal.
Big fish, little pond.
Big fish, little pond.
Him and
Big
Dame
fish, little
Lillard.
pond. Dame at 71 yesterday, but I am not impressed. He's still in 11th seed.
So Jason Tatum hit the game-winning shot, and like I'm not impressed by him either. Now he was playoff Jason Tatum. He was not regular season Jason Tatum, and there's a big delta between those two. But we'll talk about the Sixers. I think let's briefly talk Eagles. We lost the Super Bowl. We need time to recover. We did deserve to lose, but that holding call was
No, he didn't.
somewhat inconsistent with the way that game was being called. So not a
Saying
huge
we
fan.
deserve to lose feels a little.
I mean, our defense didn't show up.
No, but our offense 100% did.
That's fine, but our defense
Jalen
did
Hurts
not.
was the best player on that field. He
Okay, and
should
the
have been
second,
given the opportunity. He
third,
should have
fourth,
been
fifth,
given the
sixth, and seventh.
opportunity to drive down the field. That's all I'm saying.
All right. I mean, I would tell you the second through seventh best players on the field had red uniforms on. So
I would tell you you're a crazy person.
that's okay.
Did you watch our offense all game?
Yeah, I watched. We were good. Our defense was terrible. It doesn't matter. We lost. We're not Super Bowl champs. And nobody remembers the Super Bowl losers except for the fans of that losing team. And I happen to remember the 3 losses in the Super Bowl the Eagles have had. What do we need in 2023?
We
Besides an
need to
offensive
re-sign.
coordinator and a defensive coordinator,
Well, thank
which
God.
is
They both
fine.
sucked. I don't know how they got jobs. Apparently, what I liked was apparently Gannon was actually soft fired. I read a report. I tweeted out after the game, leave Gannon in Arizona. And from what I've heard, that's essentially what they did.
Really?
From what I've heard, Howie went up to Gannon and was like, you have a meeting with the Arizona Cardinals tomorrow.
But didn't he know he had a meeting with the Arizona Cardinals tomorrow?
Well, he had said the week, I'm not leaving Philly. And or 2 weeks before, he had said, like, me whether they want me or not. And from what I've heard, Howie was like,
yeah, I didn't like what that thing right there. I didn't like what you just did.
of course you didn't, because you're the worst. You
I don't
hate
think we should
everything
do
I
that
do.
again. No, it's not true, but I don't think we should do that again. I don't think that's necessary. So what do the Eagles need in 2023?
Re-sign CJ Gardner-Johnson, Hargrave. Get Fletcher Cox to come back, but I'm not sure if he will. Retire, honestly. And try to get Kelsey back. Like, those are the 4 most important. Like, Bradbury would be nice to have back, but you could draft a corner with the pick, and I wouldn't be upset at that at all. Let Miles Sanders walk. That guy sucks. And if you have to take a running back with like your 30th pick, I'm okay with that.
So you didn't really answer. I mean, re-signing guys, no shit. But I think in the draft we're going to address some needs on the defensive side of the ball. Corners, safeties, linebackers. We probably need like one of each.
I don't think linebacker. Well, we'll re-sign one of the linebackers, probably TJ Edwards, if I had to guess. Your guy, Kaiser White, I'm not sure next year.
I should buy the jersey with an American Express card so that if he does get traded, I have jersey protection guarantee. Right.
He
That's
had a
my
good
guy.
year, but we drafted Nakobe Dean last year, who is supposed to be a stud and looked really good in the minimal snaps he got. So we have a natural replacement who needs more time.
Well, draft is in a couple months, a month. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
I'm excited.
I know you are. I couldn't give a shit
I love
until
the
the regular
draft.
season starts. You know what? The draft is fine. You ever sat through a draft, like at the
That's
draft?
on you.
Oh, it was so boring.
But like you throw a 30,
It was so boring. I can't even tell you how boring it was.
that's
And
totally
I had
your
good
fault.
seats. I was invited by FedEx. I had really good seats. We had we actually had Carson Wentz and I think Zach Ertz, and I can't remember who else. Maybe there was like a Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker. Like they had a little dinner reception set up. Those three guys talked, and it
Speaking
might not
of
have been.
Carson Wentz, by the way,
What about him?
he has officially been cut by the Commanders as of today.
Wow.
Rest in piss, bozo.
So where do we think
Enjoy
he's going to
hunting
sign?
season.
I mean, he may be hunting for good. He may be going fishing for good.
I mean, I don't think he even enjoys playing football. It's like it's literally the Ben Simmons of the NFL. He's made his money. Tell
Who
him
would
to
you
just
take?
go
That's a good.
fucking fishing.
You know what? That's a good question though. Who would you like if you had to have one of them on your team? They don't have to start. They don't have to play.
I was
Who
about
would
to
you
ask,
rather
do they have
have?
to play?
No, they don't have to play.
On their current contracts?
No. Contracts are relevant. It's just about which of those guys would you want on your team.
I think it would be to have Carson Wentz watch Jalen Hurts be good. Whereas if Ben Simmons were on the bench, I wouldn't be myself. I'd be so mad the entire time. So I'm going to pick Carson Wentz.
So I would pick Carson Wentz because I think at this stage he probably knows his career's somewhat over, and he'd probably be an okay backup. And I don't mean okay in terms of player. I just mean like whatever. You need a second guy. He's got an arm and he's played quarterback before. So you put those two things together and like
Just so we're clear, when
fine.
he says he has an arm, he doesn't mean he has a cannon. He means he literally has a physical limb.
Yeah, he has two of them. So good for him. Like he's 6'5". I just think Ben would be such a cancer on the bench, and that everybody on that team would want to fight him. And by the way, when we go into the Ben Simmons
Especially
watch,
George Niang.
when we go into the Ben Simmons watch, like his last five, oh boy, they are not.
Do you have
pretty.
totes in there too? Because I feel like it's like
I have minutes
17.
per game. It's not far off. I do have minutes per game. It's oh boy, it is not good.
He's essentially been cut out of the rotation. It makes me so happy.
It makes me happy as well. Okay, so I want to cut out the Phillies section entirely until or if they make the playoffs.
Ball.
Apparently, you want to take
ball.
2 minutes to talk about the Phillies, so you could talk about them. I may go to the bathroom because I couldn't give two shits about spring ball. The rules are funny. I don't understand them. The rules are funny though. Like I don't know how you call a guy out third strike in the bottom of the ninth and allow. I know they have ties in the preseason. I get that part. That's fine. But how do you call the guy out for like what? Was he scratching his balls too long? Like stupid. Baseball has gotten stupid.
I love it so much. The only thing I wanted to say is that Trey Turner had his debut. I mean,
and he's wearing two oven mitts. Did you see the two oven mitts he wears out there?
He looked good. That's all I care about.
Two oven mitts?
And listen, he has to wear the two oven mitts because he slides constantly.
Yeah.
He uses both arms.
He uses both. Most people do when they slide and when they run. Most people don't just use one arm and then have the other one here and just run like this. They kind of run like
this. That's what I do. That's what I.
Is it? Right. You do. You also have this. You like. you lean back a lot on your walk. Like I noticed that it's kind of like a go fuck yourself, everybody that gets in my way kind of
Yeah,
walk. You've
I have
got
the
it's
swagger walk, even though I
I
have no
don't but it's
swagger.
not a swagger. It's like it's a
No, it's like a
missed swagger,
no, but it's a swagger walk, but without the swagger. It's just like
which it's called a walk then,
it's
but it's
called a
like a
pompous asshole walk.
it kind of is. Yeah. And you bought that like I noticed it when you were going because so I saw Ari last week. I took him out to dinner. And you were buying that new Coke flavor that I could have told you was going to be a hot mess.
It was, but we had to
It
try.
was so. What would you rather have, the Milkita
Oh,
or
the
the Coca?
Milkita easily.
Yeah,
The
easily. I would
Coke
eat
was
a whole
like
bag of
the
Milkita.
Coke was like a 1.5.
It is undrinkable. Like it's undrinkable. And then you left them in the car.
Hell
I
yeah,
think
I
they're
did.
still
They
there
were
right now.
yours. They were
I
yours.
think they're still there. And the best part is when it gets below freezing, the cans explode, and that might happen
They
tonight.
exploded in your car.
That might happen tonight. We'll see. Um, yeah, so you had that walk. Anyway, Phillies, okay, whatever. Sixers.
Do we do you? What was the
No.
order again?
I didn't even have the union on here. I mean, I we do too many things. We really need like
We talk about
uh,
all of our teams. What do you want?
yeah, but then we need to keep it short with each of the teams and keep it to like two questions, except for when we talk about the Sixers and Tottenham, because then we can
No,
talk about
that's
them for longer.
bullshit. We don't talk about your teams for longer because you like them more. That's bullshit.
I
They're the
mean, this
worst.
is too much. Maybe what we do is we do a rotation of the other teams, and then we always talk Sixers and
No.
Tottenham, but we
No.
do a rotation. Well, Eagles are going to be done soon anyway.
Yeah, Eagles are done. I
Phillies,
don't need to
we're
talk
not
about
doing
spring
regular season.
ball. I don't care.
Look, the Union had a good game. They won 4-1. They were down 1-0. They woke up after that and they put a fucking beat down
The
on
Union are the only
Columbus.
Philadelphia team, literally the only Philadelphia team that actually beats the teams they're supposed to.
Yeah, right now. Except the LAFC team that they lost to in the finals. By the way, we meant to talk about this. We were waiting. Why did we do the podcast? We're recording now. It's 10 o'clock. It's like past my bedtime. I'm old. But I had a basketball game tonight. You didn't even ask me about my basketball game.
How did your basketball game go? You
Not
were
so
supposed to
well.
remind me.
I was. I
Not
didn't. You
so
know what?
well.
No. I mean, so we won, right? And I'm a team guy, so the win
What?
comes first.
Oh, shut up, Ben Simmons.
So I actually had a rather Ben Simmons like night.
Oh no.
But it's I scored 6. I hit 1 3 and went 3 for 4 from the line, but I probably went 1 for 5 or 1 for 6 overall.
Oh, so you had a George Niang night.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I
You had a
probably had
shooting slump George Niang night.
I did. I probably had 3 or 4 boards. If I had 1 assist, it'd be a lot. Like it was just not my night. I wasn't feeling it. Felt a little lethargic out there. Team we were
I
playing.
wonder why,
So
old man.
what I'll tell you, the team we were playing, there was a guy who was defending me. Little shorter, little skinnier, lot skinnier.
You
Probably
didn't attack your mismatch?
a little quicker. Um, way younger. And on the defensive end, he kept kind of putting his hand on me. And then he was like when I brought the ball up, the first time I brought it up, he kind of attacked me once I passed half court. And so the next time down, I dribbled up and then I turned around and literally shoved my ass in like his hip and moved him back. And then kept moving him back, passed the ball, and then when he put his arm on me, I slapped it away. And so I know he didn't like it because he kind of looked at me. I didn't look back at him. But what it essentially did though was he was scared shitless to like touch me the rest of the game, which is exactly what I want. I don't want
So he
him.
tried to Pat Bev you, and you said, fuck that and prove that he was a pussy. He did not have
Kind
that
of a
dog
little
in
bit,
him.
yes. He did not have the dog in him. Now, he did take me to the hole once, and what ended up happening, though, was there was a guy on his team that set a moving pick as he was going by me, and it just they blew me up. But it wasn't a legit. And so I looked at the ref actually, and the ref looked at me because he knows I hate the moving screen. It's like my least favorite part about pickup basketball with a ref. And he looked at me, he goes, "Your guy pushed him into you." And I go, Jeff the ref. I go, Jeff.
Jeff the
He goes, "I
ref.
promise you, your guy pushed their guy into that moving screen." I go, "Fine. I will accept that, Jeff, but don't fucking let it happen again." He knew. He knew.
As soon as
Don't
you
fuck
looked at
with
him, he
me.
knew exactly what
Oh,
to
he
say.
knew because I did. As soon as it happened, I looked at Jeff. I go, "Excuse me," and he goes, "Your guy pushed it." He was like ready for
Satiated
his
the
answer.
beast.
He did. He did. But I like Jeff the ref. Very nice gentleman. He and I get along great, so I accepted the explanation and I moved on. Okay, we're done with the basketball. I ended up with 6 points. We won 54-48, something like that, 55-48. So not really my fair share of points, but I hit a big three. The three that I hit was an important one. It put us up by I think 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Sixers. Nothing really to talk about with the trade deadline. Come and gone. We got Jalen McDaniels, not to be confused with Jaden McDaniels, who is the
We
better
got the
brother,
older,
younger.
worse brother.
But what I'll tell you
But he's
is I
okay.
like him. Yeah, no, I
I
like
do
him.
too. He brought a skill set we needed.
So he's willing to shoot. He'll take the ball to the hole, which is what I've seen. And his defense is not significantly worse than Matisse's.
Well, forget all of that for 1 second. The most important thing about Daniels is he's athletic. We don't have a single other athletic, quick guy on other than Maxey, who's fucking tiny.
So
Like Jalen McDaniels has offensive rebounds tonight. We don't get offensive rebounds.
no, we don't, because DeAnthony Melton's our best rebounder, which is pathetic. Right?
He's
It's
been
clear
bad
he's our best
recently.
rebounder. He's what?
He's been bad recently.
He has been bad. And that's, part of the reason why we lost the Celtics is because he and Maxey were bad. But you know who showed up? Playoff PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker
PJ's been good.
was playing playoff
PJ's been good.
basketball. It's almost like he was on autopilot the first 50 games of this season and was like, yeah, I'm kind of just staying in shape. But the reality is, like, I don't give a shit about these games. But
Or
when
he's
we-
injured. Because he's been injured
Well-
like all year, apparently.
So, yeah, his hand or something doesn't work.
Dead hand.
He's got a dead. Who has a dead hand? Like, is that nerve damage?
How do you play basketball on a dead hand?
I don't know. I mean, so I once had nerve damage. Do you know this story when I had my wisdom teeth taken out?
No.
Oh, it's fantastic. So I'm 24, 25 years old. I had impacted wisdom teeth. Huge, like monstrous. I don't even know where they fit because there's no room back there for any teeth. And they were there. And there's no room
That
for
is
them.
how wisdom teeth works.
Crazy.
That is
I don't know. My mouth is expanded. Anyway, so they took out my wisdom teeth and I had nerve damage. And it literally affected all of this. Just a quarter of my mouth into my chin. To the point where I remember having lunch. I was in New York. I remember having lunch and I bit my lip. I didn't know I bit my lip. And I was bleeding and the blood was trickling down my chin during lunch. And someone goes, you've got blood. I go, I don't know I have blood. They go, what is wrong with you? I said, I can't feel my fucking mouth. It's insane. This whole region right here, whole region gone. I couldn't feel it for it was 3 months, 6 months.
3 months?
Oh, it was crazy. And I would again, you couldn't feel it, so I would constantly bite it to see if I could feel it. So I'm like, and then
You're a total moron.
right. Apparently, I didn't read this article, but friends of ours were over for dinner last night, and their daughter had wisdom teeth surgery, and apparently, like if you get it in your early mid-20s, a lot of nerve damage is the result of taking your wisdom teeth out. So it made sense, but we didn't know that study back when I had mine done. And I needed to because, again, I don't know how the fuck they fit in there.
That's how they work. That's why they need to be removed.
Yeah. So why do we lose against all the good teams? We lost against the Celtics.
Again,
We
I
lost
don't know
against
where
the
you
Heat.
came up with this narrative. We just don't play well, period. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, but it's a slog.
I mean, we're 30
either
and
way.
20, give or take a game or two, right? So we win 30. We've won 3 out of 5 games.
Listen, according to Daryl Morey, we're one of the only 3 teams that are good against good teams.
Are we really? Because I feel like we're not.
Statistically, probably, but we
Well, so
suck against
didn't we
every
beat
team, so it
Milwaukee
doesn't
with
really
the G
matter.
League Sixers? I think we
We
did.
beat Brooklyn.
We did beat
all of
Brooklyn
their
with the G League
players.
Sixers,
I
right?
don't think we played Milwaukee with the G League Sixers.
Okay. So that doesn't count. I don't know.
Sure, it does.
I'm disappointed. Again, the Celtics game, we were dominating for 3 quarters. Then they just turned it on. Even with playoff Jason Tatum, who's not as good as regular season Jason Tatum playing, I just think Brown and Smart are tough matchups for us. And then, like the disruptors in Robert Williams III and Grant Williams, like just kill us.
And Al
We don't
Horford
do that.
couldn't miss a shot.
Al Horford made more threes in the fourth quarter against us in that one game than he did an entire season playing for the Sixers like 4 years ago. That fucking asshole. God, Al Horford. And he was atrocious leading up to the fourth quarter.
Well, so was Tatum, and then Tatum decided to turn it on.
Yeah, I do not like that
They're
team.
just a matchup nightmare for this team. We
They
cannot
are.
guard big wings.
And I really do believe they use that left arm to like clear space all the time.
So does
when they're dribbling.
everyone.
Yeah, I don't like when they do it though, because I really hate them.
But after, so the Memphis game happened, and they were horrible for 3 quarters, or 3.5 quarters, and then the last 6 minutes were great, and they had a huge comeback win. And you would think they'd take that momentum, and they kind of did. There were some positives in the Celtics game. I didn't watch it. I was out.
I watched it. I was there.
But then this Heat game was just such a slog. And, we were only down by, 8 for most of the game, but it was so clear that we weren't in it basically at any point.
Well, I think we missed 8 of our last 10 shots or 9 of our last 11. And, I mean, does James Harden not know how to make an open shot? Because he was wide open for that game-winning 3.
Forget that. What is the play call?
Open. Oh, they don't know how to run plays at the end of the game.
I mean, dot him out, and then do they not
He's like, I just need to give you guys a rest. No. Doc calls
timeout. Do they not
timeout.
assume he's going to get doubled? Every time it's like a shock.
He calls
every
timeout,
single time.
And he gets in there and he goes, guys, I felt like you were tired. I thought you needed a rest. Play? No.
And
just
then
go out there.
He slaps him on the ass and says, get back out there.
Get out there. No, play.
Go have some fun.
Right? This isn't your job. Just have fun like you were on the playground when you were 8 years old. And Joel goes like, I wasn't on a playground when I was 8 years old.
I was playing volleyball.
I picked up a basketball at 16 for the first time. He doesn't know how to coach them. He's a jerk off. There's no other comment. So you and I kind of talked about this, but I'm going to let you start the conversation.
So if we in the second round again this year, which is a very real possibility. When is really the word? If to oh my God, maybe they will. They won't. They never will.
Lose.
When we lose in the second round. First of all, do you think Joel asks out? And second of all, if he does, what is a realistic trade package that you would want for him? Where would you send him? all those things.
So
Bearing in mind what he would want and what the organization would want in return for him.
So I think Joel will ask out. I do, because I think Harden's not going to resign. Harden is not going to show up in the playoffs as usual, and Harden will not resign. And I think they'll end up firing Morey and or Doc, right? And so
Feels like Doc.
if they
Doc.
fire Doc and they keep Morey, then there's a chance we run this thing back, which is like another year of hell. Why would we want to do that? So I went through all of the teams in the NBA. And I thought about teams. So, look, I'd love Ja, but Memphis isn't trading him. I would love Anthony Edwards, but they don't need a third center. OKC, Houston, rebuilding. Joel's not going there. Cleveland, I feel like it's too soon. They want to run that back for a year or two. They're very young. You probably think so. I would actually. There's two teams that I think would do the deal, and they're in our backyard. I think it's Brooklyn, and I think it's the Celtics. I really do. I don't
think it's one of those teams. First of all,
so I think
they're not giving us anything. And second of all, we don't want anything they haven't returned.
No, so Brooklyn, it would be McHale, another asset, and like 4 first-round picks. And then we're blowing it up. I think
but they're not a contender right now.
So the Celtics, I think, if they don't win this year, then I think they retool. And I think we could get Jaylen Brown, Robert Williams III, and maybe a draft pick or two for Joel. And I think that would be pretty compelling for the Celtics and pretty compelling for us. You like that.
I don't like it at all.
Yeah,
actually.
you do. So let me get through. So I've got Brooklyn. I've got the Celtics. I've got the Raptors. We'd get 2 of Siakam, OG, and Scotty Barnes in draft picks.
Yes.
I think the Magic, potentially. We'd get Banchero and a bunch of guys.
It's got to be a team that can actually compete, though.
Right.
Why would Joel go to
Here's the crazy one, though.
Team?
The Mavericks aren't going to do shit in the playoffs. Could you see a straight swap Luka for Joel?
No. They would never do that. There is not a world. There is not a universe. Even if you believed in the multiverse theory, where literally every conceivable is a possibility, they still wouldn't fucking do it in any of those.
So universes. I agree. I think Luka will be a Maverick for life, even if he doesn't like what they're doing. But I really do think Brooklyn and the Celtics are two. And hold on, going back to Brooklyn, wouldn't it be amazing?
It would be so funny.
It would be amazing.
I know exactly where you're going. It would be so fun.
Joel
but again,
starting and Ben be the 8th man on that team together.
But again,
and Ben be his
backup. Contender. That's not a contender.
Ben could be his backup.
But Abba, you're not considering. They're not competing.
Yeah,
he would be the only player on that team.
He would. I would love that. Like if he's going to get traded, fuck him. Go to Brooklyn and play with Ben again. So your team is clearly Cleveland.
So the first option I thought about was Memphis. Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, and some picks.
No, but Memphis isn't all that good. Like Memphis is going to lose in the second round. They are weak.
Are you telling me that Jaren Jackson Jr. to Joel Embiid is not a big enough upgrade to make them contenders?
I think for Memphis it would be huge. I just don't like any of Memphis's players.
Well, that's Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, and picks. The package is not going to be a Luka Doncic. It's not going to be a John Morant. It's not going to be an Anthony Edwards. 2 guys who are like fringe level all-stars at best, and some picks. You're rebuilding. You want
at
the
that
youth.
Point. I don't know. I guess I just run it back at that point. I don't really want Jaren Jackson
I think
Jr.
the Cleveland package of Mobley and Allen leaves them in a good spot to contend with Garland, Donovan Mitchell, and Joel, which I think is kind of like a better version of the 3 main players we have on our team. I think Donovan Mitchell is just a far superior version of Tyrese, and Garland and Harden this year pretty comparable, like in terms of what they add to a team. So I would leave them in a spot to contend, would give us a good young piece in Mobley who you could hang your hopes on a little bit that he could improve his offensive game, although I don't think he actually will. But he's an elite defender. And Jared Allen is a good center.
So I would tell you, elite defenders don't do anything for me, especially in the playoffs. Like, it's offense beats defense all the time. We've talked about this before.
But the
Like,
two of
great.
them defensively are essentially a defensive system in and of themselves. And can, like, Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell are not good defenders.
So give me
Donovan
Bickerstaff
stepped
as
it
the
up a little
coach.
bit.
Give me Bickerstaff as a coach because I think he's outstanding.
So we're trading for
Yeah, JB
Jared
Bickerstaff.
Allen, JB
Yeah,
Bickerstaff, and Evan Mobley.
and picks. I need
And
picks.
picks.
I need at least 2, if not 6 first rounders. Because apparently the going rate for like an all-star, elite all-star is 4 first-round picks.
But I think
Right?
like you've immediately replaced that center position with Jared Allen. You get another 4 because we don't have enough power forwards on the team.
Well, you'd probably throw PJ Tucker into that trade, right? Because Cleveland would probably want him.
Well, in actuality, they'd have to throw more. So they'd have to throw more salary in. I don't know who that would be, but
I mean, they can figure it out.
Yeah, that's not our job. But PJ's $7 million a year salary on top of Joel's max.
Can we throw Montrezl Harrell in there just for shits and giggles? Like, you can have him. Can you just give us a bag of chips for him? Like, not even the good chips, not even like the kettle cooked. I'll take like the cheap Lays that you get in that crappy little bag. The yellow.
No, we've had this discussion. It's the Utz. Every time it's the Utz.
It's the Utz. I forgot. That white and red bag.
Always.
Always the Utz. Yeah, I take like a bag of Utz for Trez.
So, I mean, your team then kind of is you hope can do a little bit more playmaking, more ball handling. I would say sign and trade Harden to the Rockets. Let him go back home since that's where he wants to go. Get some of their like young types. Like, I don't need Jalen Green, to be honest. I don't need Şengün if I have Jared Allen, although Şengün is very good. Like Atari Eason or something, for all I care.
All right. Might happen. You never know. I do. So, do you actually? What do you think the probability is of Joel asking out?
Well, I think and this is provided we lose in the second round, because we will, right?
Oh yeah.
So provided we lose in the second round, I think the probability of him asking out is 65%.
Wow. So I would have said 50. Look, we may lose in the first round. Think about it.
That being said,
we may end the season
I think
as the 4.
Probability. We're not losing the first round. It's always the second.
But think about
It's
it.
always the second.
But hold on a sec. If we actually end up matched up against Miami, do you think we're the favorites?
We beat the shit out of them. They suck. They're so bad.
Okay.
They're like
Jimmy will will
atrocious.
them, and they destroyed us last year in the playoffs.
Jimmy didn't will us to a playoff win when he was here.
Oh, come on. We went to quadruple doink in the 7th game against the Raptors.
Did we win?
No, but Jimmy played really well during that
Jimmy
series.
did play really well, but I'm saying that this current Miami, he's far worse than that team. He's not willing them to a playoff win.
Playoff Jimmy Butler is something different.
He's
just different.
That team's ass.
And by the way, playoff James Harden is also something different, but not in a good way. Playoff James Harden
Yeah, no,
doesn't
this
show
team
up.
loses in the second round. Joel asks out, 65% chance. But I think the likelihood of him actually getting traded is like 20. There just isn't a package that they would want.
So how do we make this team better then?
You don't. You're an asset hell. There's literally nothing you can do.
Unless you sign and trade Harden, but even then, that's not doing anything for you.
But what a union trade is not getting equivalent value. That's your player wants to leave. Let's just trump thing, please.
No, I understand. So now, do we move on to the ultimate Simmons watch? Because it's fun. It's
Yeah, we
fun.
do.
All right. Minutes.
Am I guessing?
You're guessing.
Is this per game or total?
This is per game. I have per game
Over his
stats.
last, what,
five
five?
games. Yeah.
15.6.
19.1.
Okay. And I think it's less. It's been going down steadily.
Yes, I believe it has. Points per game. 3.6. Rebounds per game.
4.
4.4.
Okay.
Assists per game.
3.
3.8. Turnovers per game.
Ooh. 2.7.
No. 1.8.
Ow.
I think they're taking the ball out of his hands as well. It's 2.3 for the season, but it is 1.8 over the last 5 games.
Truly an
my-
incredible player.
I mean, when you look at the all-time busts, and you'll talk about the Markelle Fultz, the Sam Bowie.
Markelle Fultz is not an all-time bust. You have to stop. This agenda has to stop.
The Markelle Fultz. And there are plenty of others. There was a guy, Brown, who I think was drafted. James Wiseman will be an all-time bust because
How
he's
are
garbage.
you not talking about the biggest one of all time?
What's the biggest one of all time?
Cleveland Cavaliers, first-round draft pick.
Oh.
What the fuck was his name? I'm blanking on it. I was trying to get you to say it so I could be
Cleveland
like, yeah, that
Cavaliers, first-round
guy.
draft
Fucking
pick?
the power forward.
Oh, I don't. Yeah.
Anthony Bennett? Was that his name?
Yes.
Anthony Bennett?
Right. Something like that. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
No, I think Ben will go down as easily top 5, if not number 1, if he continues down this road. And it'll be the classic case of a guy who thought he was better than he was, and also a guy who did not put in the work during the summer.
Anything? Summer. Forget summer.
Especially during the summer.
Didn't put in any work.
Although he did, his summer mixtapes.
Those open gym videos go so
great.
hard.
He is hitting
He lets
threes.
it fly.
He does. That side swipe, like the ball rotates sideways. But man, does he look good at the Lifetime in LA.
Hang on. Who is more likely to let a 3 fly? Ben Simmons in an NBA game
Or Carson
me
Wentz.
in a rec league game?
Or Carson Wentz in an NBA game? It's Carson Wentz. You in a rec league game. 100%. Because
I don't shoot.
No, but you have you have this stupid confidence.
No, I do not when it comes to basketball. I play like Matisse Thybulle. I foul a lot. I poke my hands where I probably shouldn't, and I rarely, if ever, shoot the ball. And if I do, it's not going in. My teammates have to yell at me to shoot.
When have you played? When's the last time you played?
I played some games last year.
Last year, like at school,
Yeah.
Maryland.
No, last year, like last school year, 12th grade
Oh
at
God. Okay. So
Barrett.
you don't play at Maryland, like you won't be like the AEPI captain of the basketball team.
I'm
in
gonna
the
play a
fraternity league.
1v1 game again. He's gonna kick my fucking ass, but I'm talking a big game because you have to. It's just fun. I'm
I
gonna
don't know
play
if you have to.
I'm gonna play in sweats and a sweatshirt. I
Oh.
told him that.
Are people coming to watch this game as well?
Some of my other
Did
friends.
did you challenge him when you may or may not have been inebriated?
No. I've only
Okay.
been inebriated once and I did not see him that night.
How tall is said gentleman?
6'3".
Why would you why would you do that?
Because it's just fun. I told him you're gonna kick my ass, but I want to prove that I'll be a pest. I told him it's gonna be annoying to get, but you're gonna beat me by 11.
What shoes are you gonna wear?
The ones I always wear.
You know, the Air Max 90 might be the world's worst shoe for basketball ever. It is so narrow.
I don't care about these things.
You're
I
also going
just
to
hoop.
mark up the court. You
I just hoop, man.
Oh, man. You are embarrassing. Super embarrassing. Okay. I don't have an advertisement this week. I didn't think about it.
I don't want an advertisement. I want to move on. For the first time ever in podcast history, I am excited to speak about Tottenham Hotspur.
Okay. Tell me why.
And not for the reasons anyone.
No, I think everyone knows what those reasons are.
Cristian Stellini, better manager than Antonio Conte. Far better. It's not even remotely close.
So why? Why do you say that? Is
In
their
our
style of
last-
play different?
In our last 4 games, we've lost 1. I would like you to take a guess. Who was in charge of that 1?
We lost against AC Milan, and I believe Tony was coaching.
Mickey Kantz was, in fact, in charge of that game.
Who was in charge of the Leicester game, though?
He was.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that
Cristian
one was
Stellini
horrible.
officially has stepped in for Antonio Conte in, I believe, games across this year, last year, whatever it may be. He has won all, including a crucial Champions League win in the last game of the group stage against Marseille. That was him, if you'll recall, including a huge win over second-placed Manchester City, and 2 London derby wins, 2 comfortable 2-0 London derby wins against West Ham and Chelsea.
Let me ask you a question. Have you read articles or seen anything about quiet quitting? It's when people basically have a job, but they've essentially quit, or they even have a second job. Do we think Conte has quietly quit Tottenham, and or does he have a second job coaching another team in like Serie C in Italy, and that's why he's absent frequently?
Hope
What is
so.
going on? I think it's a
Well,
side
his
gig for him.
gallbladder is fucked up.
I mean, I feel
Long
like
may that
Tottenham's a side
continue.
gig. Yeah. Well, he's back on Wednesday, so
And we
there
will
goes
lose
that.
on Wednesday.
We may very. I would have loved for us to play Wrexham. Man, that team almost made it through too. That would have been.
And they would have
fantastic.
kicked our shit in the Conte
No,
reunion game.
we would
They
have
would have
killed
kicked
them.
our shit in.
No, Romero would have put that guy Mullins like on his ass, and the guy would have never gotten up.
Speaking
of Romero, he's been outstanding.
So
the
out of
last couple games.
curiosity, I want to ask you a question before we get to Romero. What do you think of Skip's recent form?
So I think he played great against West Ham. I think he was mediocre yesterday.
You're
Actually,
wrong.
I don't think he was great. I thought he was
So
mediocre.
he's been good, right?
He has been good. Yes.
So why do you think he was bad before?
I don't think he had enough of a run in. I think it's just
After an injury, right?
yeah,
It
no, I
took
think
some time for him to get back from injury.
yeah, but he also like he look, he was not injured early this season.
I'm
He
going to cut you
started
off. That's
against
very interesting to me because, see,
Liverpool.
I seem to remember a certain Christian Romero picking up an injury earlier in the season. I seem to remember that. And I seem to remember him maybe playing injured. Maybe.
Maybe, and he
So
was garbage.
do you think maybe him getting back to form is maybe a result of, oh, I don't know, the fact that he's finally really recovered from his injury? Just
So
maybe. Just maybe.
just maybe not. Let me comment. The things that so Romero is still he's the enforcer, right? He's the dog. And he clatters into people and he still
Love
does
it.
that. And he did it against uh where did he get the red card? Was that
Man City.
Man City, the win against Man City? And we still won that game. He timed it fairly well. We only had to play about 10 minutes, let's say, after his red card.
He was trying to throw so that City would win the league. He's a true
Okay.
Tottenham legend.
He's a true Tottenham legend, right? Um, he was clumsy in that first tackle with Holland. He was clumsy in the second one.
But
What
that's how
I've
you set the
noticed,
tone of a game. I will
no, I
say.
understand. Fine. What I've noticed against West Ham and Chelsea was he's
He didn't play
less
West Ham. He was
clumsy.
suspended.
So which other game was it then? It's been the last two
Milan.
games. I thought he played the
Only
last two
good
games.
player against he was one of 3 good players against Milan.
By the way, you're wrong. He did play against West Ham. He was suspended against Leicester, which is the reason why we lost. He
Oh,
was
we
suspended against
lost.
Leicester. Yeah, I mean
I
we
forgot
we
Leicester
were
was in that time period.
yes, and it was atrocious. And part of it was because the defense
Right,
looked
right,
really
right.
bad. He played against West Ham. He played against Chelsea, and he wasn't as clumsy in the tackle. But what he did really well was he passed out of the back into attacking positions, like
He's always
threaded the
been really
ball.
good at that.
But he hasn't done it until the last two games, and he looked really good. And guess who else looked really good? Emerson looked great. Emerson has
He's
looked
so
like a new
funny.
person.
He's so
He
funny.
is so great.
He's
And I'm
reborn.
so happy for him. He's been reborn. They brought in Pedro Porro, who, by the way, has the mouth of a smoker. He looks like he smokes all the time.
Oh
He's
boy.
got those like darker lips that only smokers have. He's got the mouth of a smoker. It bothers me. But maybe that's why he sucked in his debut because they've got to get it. We got to wean him off the 2 packs of ciggies that he's on. But allegedly, allegedly, we don't know.
Not
Just
even
like
allegedly. He just looks like he would.
Nikola Jokic's alleged cocaine nose that's still ever present. Ever since we bought Poro, Emerson has looked like a world beater. He has looked so good.
I
And
give it name before he crashes back down to earth.
I don't doubt that, but what I do like is I think what they've done with the back five. Now, okay, so you got Emerson, you have the back three of Romero, Dyer, Longley. It is what it is. You're gonna have to deal with that. And I like Davis as the left wing back. I really do.
You've always liked Davis at left back, even when he's been shit.
No, if you like before we started the pod, I actually thought left back in the back three was the perfect position for Davis because he wasn't fast enough to play left wing back. What I've seen in the last few games though, well, I've seen it all season, is Perisic is like criminally bad. I mean, he is washed. Like he's washed
Beyond
5 times
belief.
over. He's terrible. Sessegnon is afraid of his own shadow, right? And so Davis has played really good left back. And what's happened is Longley and sort of the three back defenders, central defenders, have made up for Davis and his slowness, but he doesn't even look all that slow the last couple games. He looks really good. The question I have for you, though, is so Sonny off the bench the last 2 games. Sonny has been a good sub, a poor starter. Richarlison has been pretty damn poor, but he hasn't had a run of games. And Kulusevski has been pretty damn poor as well.
He was
I don't think he's
better
played that well.
against Chelsea.
He was
But
better,
yeah,
but he
he's
still doesn't look great. And so who do you start? Out of those 3, who do you start next game? Forget the FA Cup. Nobody gives a shit about that. They'll start whatever.
well, no, I think the FA Cup is important because I think that's your chance to hopefully get some guys into form. I
Okay,
would
so
tell
who do
you rest Kane and play all 3 of them.
It's not a
Tell
bad
them to
idea.
go out there, score 7 for just relentless. Be relentless against them.
So I do think that puts Richarlison up top, which is his better position. And then you put Sonny and Kulusevski on the sides that they like, right? Kulu on the right-hand side, Sonny on the left. I think that's a good move. But the next Premier League game, who do you start?
Depends on who plays well in that 3 against Sheffield.
So I would tell you, regardless of who plays well, I think you bring Sonny back in. You basically say, like, you better fucking show me something. And you play Richarlison on the right-hand side with Kane up top.
He's awful on the right.
He's been awful on the left.
No. He looked fine against Chelsea. He is awful on the right. None of the good Richarlison stuff gets done when he is on the right. You cannot play him there.
I don't know. Kulusevski's been abysmal. But I do like, so what's interesting is I like the Højbjerg and Skip pairing. I think they were outstanding against West Ham. I don't think Skip had a great game against Chelsea. I think he had a good game.
Literally wrong.
I think he had a good game.
I've seen people who hate Skip were like, I have to hang my hat here. He did well.
And I would tell you, I thought West Ham, he was outstanding. Chelsea, he was not as good. Maybe that's why. Maybe I think because he wasn't as good, that it wasn't the stellar performance. Look, he deserves to play instead of Sarr. And note what I really like.
Sarr deserves to play too. It should be a Sarr and Skip partnership.
I don't know. Højbjerg brings the experience.
Højbjerg sucks.
That's fine, but he brings the
experience.
Has he
done a single positive thing?
He scored a bunch of goals this year, more than he normally does.
I mean, in the last 2 games. We were talking about...
There were a few times where I was like, that's a nice move by Højbjerg. But generally speaking, he was solid. That's a fair way to put it. He was solid.
He was ass.
No, he was
really
solid.
What you mean. He was ass.
Okay. No, he was solid, but that's okay. I don't know. I mean, I guess what I was going to say though is what I actually really liked is in this game, Chelsea made all 5 subs. We made 1 sub, right? Didn't we only make 1?
You like that?
The team was playing so well together that I did like it. I mean, you bring somebody in? Actually, no. Porro came in, right? Porro came in on the right side, right wing. Like, what the hell was that? But that's instead of Kulusevski, right? That was a weird substitution. But generally, I liked the team was playing so well together that I liked us not making a lot of subs. We didn't need to. And at no point did I think Chelsea was going to score. Like, I really didn't.
It's weird because every time Antonio Conte's in charge, I always think the opposing team.
What we've been doing is pressing, is putting pressure on them when they've got the ball in there.
Asking for all year. That's what we've been doing on.
So does that forget again? FA Cup is going to be a weird game. It'll be played differently than most other games. But on the weekend, do we play like we just did the last 2 games?
No.
You think so?
If Conte's back, and there's a possibility Conte is not back, his gallbladder flares up again.
Do you think he's done? That's it?
I hope so.
What you hope and what actually happens are 2 different things.
back.
It's too much money for him not to be back. It's a ridiculous amount of money.
Just like
So
I didn't watch the half of this game. I woke up for it to an alarm. I, legally speaking, was not at all inebriated, but was definitely very inebriated the night before. Got in very late/early in the morning.
what's late for you, by the way?
We got back at 2:30.
Okay.
And
I'm proud of you. Your mother's proud of you.
I know.
We feel like you had a good weekend. Like overall,
It was a good
Ari's
weekend.
like
I went out on Friday night to a
fun.
Wizards game. I went out on all day Saturday, which sucked, but that's besides the point. And then Saturday night was a lot of fun. And then yesterday, I went to the Maryland basketball game. I don't think I did anything last night, but I did something the nights before, so it's fine.
Yeah, and who told you should go to more basketball games?
You did.
Okay. And was I right?
Yeah.
Maybe you should listen to me.
Nah. Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah, but this is not a broken clock. It's genius. Genius
Yeah,
with experience.
It's actually a clock with only one working hand.
This guy.
Genius.
Okay, punch of the week.
Antonio Conte's gallbladder.
Antonio Conte's gallbladder.
For healing enough for him to come back.
All right, because I was wondering where you went with this. I'm going to go with the NBA All-Star Game. I've watched a lot of horrible basketball in my life. I mean,
Can you even call that basketball?
Do
we really call that basketball?
I've gone to see coworkers' kids play high school basketball. I just love basketball.
You did that like you're acting like that was like years ago. What was
No. I've done
it
it recently, and I would do it again. I've gone to see the Barrack Hebrew Academy girls team play basketball, and my daughter is not even on that team, just to kind of support the school. And to say that is bad basketball, I mean, look, those girls, one of the girls just scored 1,000 points in her career. Fantastic. That is not good basketball. And when they play the other Jewish school that is their big rival, who is not known for their basketball prowess, like it is a train wreck watching this game. I've seen those kinds of games, and I would rather watch that than watch what they put together for the All-Star game.
Hang on, someone on the Barrack girls team hit 1,000 points?
Yes.
Are they Are they like Jaren Jackson Jr. stat
Her
padding?
sister was in your class.
No, I understand that, but 1,000 over a 4-year span.
So remember, it's probably over a 5, if not 6-year span, right? Because Barrack does allow 7th graders to play varsity. So you do the math, right?
How many games do they play a season, though?
20?
That
25?
Many?
Yeah, they play, let's say 20 times 5 games. It's 100 games. You average 10 a game. Like, that's not anything special.
I thought it was way fewer games than that.
It's special, but it's like I'm not. Look, she had a great.
We're not sugarcoating.
She had a great high school career. Let's just leave it at that. I would have played varsity tennis at Barrack in 6th grade, just for the record, and I would have been.
I would have too, but they didn't let me.
You were not the tennis player I was. Let's just be very clear about that.
You took me out of lessons and refused to play with me. That's on you.
Yeah, because you were so about tennis. You always practiced on your own. Maybe you were big time practicing on your own.
Well, I kept asking you to play with me, and you said, "Fuck no."
Because you suck.
In fact, I am currently extending an invitation. I would like to play tennis with you. What say you? I don't care. What say you?
When you come home for spring break, I'll play tennis with you once.
I don't believe that.
We'll see.
You're just trying to look good for the pod.
Nobody's listening at the 1 hour
I
and 10
will be
minute mark.
putting out a follow-up on
Okay.
this.
All right. You know what? I think we're done here. We at Trade You for the Fruit Punch appreciate our fans, those who have lasted an hour and 10 minutes.
They
And I
haven't.
thank you, Ari.
No one has.
No
I
one
thank
has.
you, Guy.
Yeah. I thank you, Ari. I thank you, Ari. Oh my God. Can you please back up?